Hey there, in this video we're going to cover QuestionPro's upload and prep steps. So before we start, we need three different things. We need the actual survey that was done, so what the actual end user saw, and we're going to use this to use as a reference so we can kind of see how the actual questions were. We're going to need a document that has all the questions listed out, and then what QuestionPro's question type was called for each one. And the reason we need that is because we get the QuestionPro question type, and then we go to the knowledge base, find the QuestionPro article for the upload and prep, and we will then see what it was called in QuestionPro, and then what we're going to select in VizualSurvey. So if it was called a drop-down in QuestionPro, we're going to select single response in VizualSurvey, and then we'll also know if it's a single or grouped new question number and any notes. And that would all make sense in a little bit. We'll do an example of that. All right, so we need those three things, and then we of course need the data. All right, so we can either browse the data, we can use the QuestionPro API here, or we can just grab it and drop it right here. All right, so while this is uploading, let's go ahead and take a look at the data itself. So here is the QuestionPro data. One thing that's a little tricky, that's going to give us a little more cleaning. The cleaning step is QuestionPro has two headers. So you see we have a header here with some values and then a header here with some other values. All right, now the software is going to take care of that. What it's going to do is it's going to look at the first row. If there's a value there, then it's going to grab it. If there is no value in the first row, it's going to grab this second row and put that as the header. Now this is going to give us a little extra cleaning, because for example, in this situation, it's going to grab this and it's going to delete this. So we're going to lose this ethnicity. So we're going to have to come back in the raw data, look at it, and then put it in the software so we know exactly what it is. But we'll do that later on. All right, so we got it uploaded. Here you can see the preview. You can also see what I was talking about, how it grabbed the first header and not the second one. So we lost that second header, but it's needed because we have to have one header. All right, so this is all good. Let's go ahead and jump to the prep data step. All right, so here is the prep data. On the left, we have all of the preview of all of our columns. You can filter them here, or you can select the column ID to filter that specific column and see a preview of that. We have our respondent ID. Here, you're just going to select what column is your respondent ID. Within this situation, it's the first column, which is pretty normal. You have your select option, which you're going to use with your actions, which we'll do in a little bit. You have filters. Anything you select here will be a filter in your dashboard, which we also will do later. You have all of your column names listed out, and you can go ahead and edit your column names if you want, but usually I wait until the clean data step to do any type of editing there. Then you have your new question number, which is the way that we group columns together. So for example, multiple choice and matrix and ranking type questions, they usually have multiple columns associated with one question. And we will use this to give all of those columns the same number, and that will group those together for us, which will help us later on. Then we have our question type, which was what I was saying. This tells the software how to format that data, and then also the dashboard what visualization to show. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we have all of these extra columns that came with the data that we don't want. So let's go ahead and select all these so we can get these out the way, and we're going to use the software to pretty much hide these. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select all of these here, all the way to my first question, which starts with first name. So go to actions and then hide. The good thing about hiding, if you hide it here, you can bring it back in the workflow, and you can just add it and bring it back without worrying about anything. All right, so the first question starts here with first name. Let's go ahead and grab our actual questionnaire. You see you have first name, last name, phone, and email. I really don't care about these three. I just want their first name. So I'm going to go ahead and hide those three and just keep my first name. All right. So now we just have first name. Now we just have to assign it a question number. which we should do 1. Let's go ahead and look at what question type this was in QuestionPro. This was called a contact information. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the knowledge base crosswalk, find contact information, and it says pick text box in VizualSurvey. And also says this is going to be just a single one number for this one column. All right. The group ones are going to be, one number, for example, number 2 for like 3, 4, 5 different columns. So because we're going to group them. Okay. But this is just a one-on-one. All right. And that's going to be kind of the way we're going to do this. All right. Next, let's go ahead and look at what region are you from? Let's look at the actual survey itself so we can see what it looked like for the end users. All right. So it looks like a simple select. All right. They do have this option one here where if you select it, you can do an open-ended answer, which is going to give us an extra column down here. So we have what's your region, and then we have this other. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what's your region. So we have what's your region, and you could select central, other, west, and north. And that looks like if you selected other right here, then you get to type in something. Okay. So with the other specify, what we have to do is we have to give the first one a number. And if we can look and say, this is called a multiple choice, select 1. Let's go look at the knowledge base. Multiple choice, select 1. And this is a single response. And then if we go down, we'll see this other option, and that is going to be a text box. All right. So this is just a special situation for this other one. So this one is going to be a single response. And then this one here is going to be its own number and a text box. All right. So anytime you have a other in any type of question, the main question gets one number and whatever the knowledge base says is the question type. And then the other is going to get its own number and text box. All right. So that's going to be consistent throughout. Now, the good thing is once you learn this process and learn, all of the information in for this article in this knowledge base, you're going to be doing the same thing over and over. So it's going to become a lot faster and a lot easier because you're going to be looking at your question types, which are in QuestionPro, and it's going to correlate over to VizualSurvey, and you'll be doing the same thing. Okay. Next one, let's go ahead and take a look here. What is your ethnicity? And this looks like a select mini. All right, so if we look, this is called a multiple choice, select mini. If we look in our knowledge base and go to multiple choice, select mini, this is called a multiple choice in VizualSurvey, and we need to group all the columns. So as you see, we have this one, and we have all of these columns associated with it. Okay, so we're gonna group all of these by giving these the same number. And then this is going to be a multiple choice. All right, so that is the process. Now I'm going to put the crosswalk and all that on a different screen so that I can run through these a little faster. But that is how we're going to do it. All right, the next one is going to be, this is a star rating. And this is a grouped one as well. As you see, we have 3 different ones. You can see you kind of easy see they're all the same text in the beginning. They just have a different ending. This one's QuestionPro, SurveyMonkey, and Google Forms. So this one is going to get a number for all 3 of these. The star rating, if you look on the crosswalk, is a single response matrix. And we're going to pick that. All right. The next one is going to be a text slider. This also, as you see, has multiple ones for this. You can see it has the same question for all 3 of these, just different endings. So this is all going to get the same number. And this is also a single response matrix. All right. Next one, I haven't even looked at it, but I can see there's all 3 of these have the same beginning. So I know these need to be grouped together too. So I'm going to give these all the same number. And let's take a look. These are actually the numeric slider. Now, this one is a little trickier because we really want to see these all in different dashboards. So, for example, I want to see the average of all of these numbers for Tableau. I want to see the average of all these numbers for VizualSurvey. And I want to see the average of all these numbers for Power BI. Now, if I group all these together, I'm going to see an average for all three of these together. So what you really want to do is give these all its own number. So 7, 8, 9, so that these all show up in its own chart or its own graph, and then give these a numeric question type. Okay. So instead of grouping these together, even though they came with the same, they came in the same question, we don't want to put these all in the same chart and mix these numbers up, because we want to see what the statistics are for each of these individually. So we're going to give these its own number. So for the numeric slider, separate all the columns by giving its own number and pick numeric. All right. Next one we got here, this is a image chooser select mini. So these are all of part of the image. All right, let's go ahead and go look at this one real quick. And I'm gonna pull that one up so you can see. And this is image chooser select mini. So it's really just these two right here. All right, so it's this one and this one here. All right, so we're gonna give these the same numbers, number 10. And image chooser select mini is a multiple choice. And I know that by looking at the crosswalk. Okay. Next one here, let's say number 11 is image rating. All right. So that's this one, and this one. Because you see, it's all start with the beginning, the same as the beginning. So I'm going to give this all the same number. And image rating, if we look at the crosswalk, is called a ranking. All right, and right now I'm doing all of the major question types in QuestionPro. More than likely, you're just going to be doing a handful of these, so you're not going to have to do all of these. This is just a demonstration so that you can see what all of them are. If you ever wanted to do all of them, more likely you're just going to be doing a few of the popular ones, so you'll be kind of doing the same thing over and over. All right, so it's usually not, this is the most difficult it's going to get if you do every single question type in one survey. All right, so this one here, this one is a image rating. We are going to be grouping these together. Let's go ahead and I'm going to look at the survey so we can see what it looks like. Please rank 1 through 3, and it's Tableau, Power BI, and click. So it's going to be 3 different columns because 3 different choices. So it's going to be this one, and this one. All right, next one, number 13 is going to be a constant sum. And this is kind of the same as that numeric slider. You have, let's go ahead and pull up that. You have, please allocate 100% between these 3. So we're going to kind of want to do the same thing. We're going to split these 3 out so we can see stats on 3 of these individually. So we're going to give these each its own number. And all of this explanation is out in the knowledge base for you to read. So you can watch this video, read that, and kind of follow along. So it'd be pretty easy for you. All right, so each of these are going to be a numeric because we want to see statistics and averages and stuff on these. And there we go. Now, number 16, this one is a drag and drop ranking. All right, so this is going to be ranking these 3, and I know that because I'm looking at the survey on the other screen. So it's going to be these 3 here, and drag and drop ranking is going to be a ranking in VizualSurvey. All right, next one, looking at it here, this is called a multi-point scale. We are going to be keeping these columns and grouping these together, and it's going to be these columns right here. So all of these are going to have the same number, and we just give these the same number here. All right, and this question type here is going to be a single response matrix. All right, the last one is a little tricky. This one's called a matrix multiple select. You have an option to select multiple answers, or one person has an option to select multiple answers for each row of the matrix. So you get a lot more columns here. And we're going to have to do some cleaning in the next step. But as far as this step, all we're doing is giving it the same number. And we're going to give this a multiple choice matrix. All right. So that is all the question numbers and question types. Like I said, it is this is every major question type in QuestionPro, which you're probably not going to be using all in one survey. So this is the most complicated it can get. I just wanted to get a demonstration instructions on how to do it all. All right, so once you did that, next thing you do is identify what you want as filters in your dashboard. So I'm going to select this one, which is your region, and you can just type in what the header is going to be. You have the option to only show this as a filter. So if you don't want this to show up as a visualization, you just want it to use it as a filter, you have the option here, and then it'll take it out of the dashboard and just show it as a filter. All right, so let's do that one. Let's see what else we want to use. Let's scroll down some. There's not many options for single response. So let's just use this one. All right, so that's going to be a filter. If you wanted to select any other one, you can also, but this one makes the most sense right now. All right, well, that is it for the prep. Next, we're going to go to the clean data, and that would be in another video. All right, I'll see you.